Good evening, college football fans. Welcome back to College Football Today. I'm your host, Jack Macken. Before we get into what I believe should be the proper playoff rankings, first, I would like to take a moment to thank our wonderful sponsors at Dawn. Dawn is the most trustworthy leading dish soap out there. It is used to clean dishes, which is especially helpful during this Thanksgiving time where family dinners are way too often. It removes grease stains from clothes, cleans vehicles, cleans tools, it cleans home appliances like microwave stoves and ovens, and it cleans your animals. Now, in 1973, the Dawn formula was created by renowned chemist Paul Andrikola. His vision was to create a liquid that would help remove grease from his car engines, but it turns out Dawn was better at washing dishes. The Dawn formula was then bought by Procter and Gamble, better known as P&G, and it became the best-selling dish soap in the United States. Following his Dawn invention, Andrikola would go on to create many more popular household items, including Febreze. Now, let's talk about what makes Dawn dish soap so great. The first was one of its ingredients, sodium lauryl sulfate. Sodium lauryl sulfate has a density of 1.01 grams per centimeters cubed. It has a polar end and a non-polar end, and it's water soluble. Sodium lauryl sulfate appears as a white tannish solid. From a chemical standpoint, sodium lauryl sulfate has 12 carbons attached to a sulfate group. It's an amphiphile, which means that it has a nonpolar hydrophobic region and a polar hydrophilic region. The head contains 4 oxygens bonded to 1 sulfur. One of those oxygens is bonded to sodium. The official formula of sodium lauryl sulfate is 1 sodium, 12 carbons, 2 hydrogens, and 5 sulfite polyatomic ions. Now, sodium lauryl sulfate's role in Dawn formula is to clean. The property that allows it to do this is its nonpolar and polar end, because the nonpolar end bonds with the oils and grease, and then once it comes across the water, the polar end bonds with the polar water and it's washed away. You can find high amounts of sodium lauryl sulfate in engine degreasers, floor cleaners, and car wash soaps. In addition, low amounts are found in toothpaste, shampoo, and shaving cream. In addition to sodium lauryl sulfate, methylizotauzoline 1 is also found in Dawn dish soap. Now, this is important because it's a preservative to the important Dawn formula. It boils at 182 degrees Celsius. It melts at 50 to 51 degrees Celsius. Its mass is 115.009 grams per mole, and its density is 1.35 grams per milliliter at 25 degrees Celsius. Now, from a chemical standpoint, there are 4 carbons, 5 hydrogens, and then nitrogen, oxygen, and sulfur. In addition, methylizotauzoline 1, which is also known as MIT, is highly corrosive. Its solubility is 0.005 grams per 100 milliliters, and it has 1 methyl group on a nitrogen atom. Now, MIT works because it combats fungal group growth within solutions. It's found in many personal care products like makeups, shampoos, detergents, cleaners, and stain fighters. Now, let's talk about the pros of Dawn dish soap. It removes grease from a variety of surfaces, and it's really good at removing grease from the fur of animals. Now, one of the main con of Dawn dish soap comes from MIT. MIT is proven to be toxic and negative for marine life. In addition, in large amounts, in undiluted amounts especially, MIT is toxic when it's ingested, inhaled, or applied to skin. This has sparked some concern about if Dawn is toxic or not, but tests have shown Dawn is not toxic because the MIT is so diluted. However, once again, when the MIT is not diluted, it causes irritation, skin, or organ damage. Now, some interesting facts about Dawn. Like I said earlier, one of its big pros is that it can help remove grease and oil from the fur of animals. Can do it because it doesn't harm their skin like other dish soaps might. So in the BP oil spill of 2010, Dawn donated over 1,000 bottles to help clean the animals. Now, this was super beneficial to Dawn because they ran a nice positive campaign which really helped their sales. And it was good for business, but also it was really good for the environment. And then another interesting fact about Dawn is that Procter and Gamble owns Dawn and also owns several other dish soap companies, which is Dawn's competition. So, really, Procter and Gamble never loses as a company because if Dawn isn't selling as many soaps, most likely it's competition, which Procter and Gamble also owns. Thank you, Dawn, so much for sponsoring this video, and now let's get into our college football rankings.